And here's an example of my fabulous silicone stick, if you will. Got it on along here, and even down, way down in that corner. Not too good. Way down in that corner to hold the switch wires. So there you have it. Moving along nicely. Now connect these. Okay, now we've got V1 in place. You can also see a sort of ditty on the side here. That's in place. And you've got these wires going back off to the front. You'll see them on the diagram. And now I'm going to move on to V2. Take a close look. Okay, here we go. Here's a bit more further work on the front end of the chassis. You can see I've got the flyers coming off there now. Most of it's done. There's a few more little bits and pieces to go on the boards. It's a reasonable job. And also, if you take a look at the back of the chassis, I've now got all this in place. It's by no means complete yet in the wiring in this section, but most of the harder stuff is. A little bit to do down this end, on those switches for example. That little section's all done. Okay, here we go. I'm going to be moving on to installing the basically the relay boards next. Okay, as you can see, those two boards have been fitted. All the wires are dangling around, except for the odd one. I've done basically all the work there now. And as you look around, take another look around, there's still a fair bit to do, there's wires everywhere. One thing I did was to cable tie these, just to get a bit neater. So that's for a slightly better job, I think. Worth the effort. Just as a matter of information, I've been on this now about 6.5, 7 hours. It's a fair amount of work. One of the things I like to do is to sort out all the resistors and all the capacitors, put them on a piece of paper, so you haven't got to think later on. They're just right, you just pick them up and fit them. Saves absolutely ages rather than sitting there trying to read tolerances, in particular the capacitors. If you don't have a meter for capacitance, wow, what a nightmare. Okay, here's another few shots of the board as it's progressing, or the chassis as it's progressing. Take a look. See, I've done most of the wiring along there. Fitted these struts so we can get the boards in a while. Let's follow it through. Now the other side of the chassis isn't yet complete. Let's turn it round. But you can see it's coming along. I double checked everything, probably got something wrong somewhere, but there you go, we'll find out later. There's a couple of bits missing yet. By the way, this thing here fitted into the bottom hole in the chassis, but it didn't fit into the bottom hole in the plastic. No, it was the wrong way around, sorry. I had to grate out the chassis to fit it there. In the top, this hole, the plastic's too small, so I decided to keep it in the bottom. I know on a lot of the circuitry I've seen, that's at the top. Doesn't really make much difference, I guess. Let's carry on along. As you can see, I've still got a few things to do. This is yet to be done. These are to be wired. There's a bit more on this yet. There's a bit more on this yet. Doesn't really matter. I've done most of the stuff around this area. And this is complete. Down here I've got a couple of capacitors to fit. That bit there is near enough done. I've got lots of wires floating around, as you can see, which I've been building up as we go. I think I've got 2 or 3 more of those. A bit more wiring down the back, a bit more wiring down the front, and rock and roll, plug the boards in. Here's something else that's a little bit confusing. If you look at this section, where these 4 things are here, well, clearly you've got the outputs and so on, but what you find is if you look at these here and you go and look at these here, they're drawn opposites. They look a bit weird, really. Clearly the ones on the inside of the board or the chassis, like where have I put them? Let's go and find them. Turn around. Like these. Oops. I'll get that in a minute. Like those. I think on the inside it's going to be the ground. Yeah. That's the wife. And looking at the back here, it's pretty obvious again. These are all ground related, I guess. Sorry, the inside ones. Stop this one, it's completely wrong. Okay, this is take 2. If you look at these connectors here and here on the diagram, they look a little bit strange because the things are drawn opposites, really. You're looking at those from the outside. It's a bit weird when you're looking at this, for example, on the inside. Anyway, the point is, the ones nearest the inside of the chassis are the signal ones, and the ones nearest the edge of the chassis are obviously the ground ones. You only need to really take a look and you can see it all gets a little bit funny. There you go, look at that one there. You can see there, by the drawing, there, that ground clearly goes to the one on the inside of the chassis. Well, it's wrong. It's all the wrong way round. You've got to look at it the other way round, so to speak. Use your common sense, really. It's pretty obvious that the signals are the ones. See, the funny thing is, they got the signalling right, but the ground wrong. At least I think so. Oh no, they didn't. They got the ground right. Okay, I've got to the stage now where you should see this on your pieces of paper. Absolutely nothing. I'll show you the board in a second. Here's the finished front bit of the chassis.